Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a review for Iron Man 2, continuing the road to the Avengers Doomsday. Iron Man 2 is an interesting one because I think it's a lot better than its reputation is, but it's a movie that is inarguably flawed, one that has, is kind of damned from studio interference and the concern to set up the future. This does feel like a soft advertisement for the Avengers. Now, to the film's benefit, a lot of what is being set up did pay off in future movies, whether it was in Thor or the Avengers, or even all the way down the line to Captain America Civil War, where you see Tony's stance in this completely flip into what his stance is in that, and Cap taking his Tony's stance from this in what pits them against each other. All of this stuff eventually paid off, so it makes this one retroactively better than when people initially saw it, where it just felt like a retread, a cash grab, and like a flighty movie that lacked the qualities and the originality of the original film that seemed to thwart convention, whereas this one leans into it. And that's kind of a shame, because there's a lot of good in this film, but I also think one of the other big issues with this film is it's so concerned with legacy. And that's weird because this is, Tony's second appearance, not counting the Incredible Hulk, out of 9 and coming. He's still doing more movies. So it's so strange for the second movie to be about legacy when there's so much track left for them to race, right? That and everybody's like positively orange. What is with that? Everybody's like Oompa Loompa colored, and I don't, is the color grading, or is it spray tan? What is happening? And it's, like, there are scenes where I couldn't, it was distracting how Sam Rockwell's palms seemed as if he had, like, had his finger in a Simpson or something. That was a little crass. I apologize. Moving back to Iron Man 2, what works with this film is kind of what worked with the last one, which is they put a lot of quality in front of that camera. Jon Favreau is able to get a movie that shouldn't work, that does work, in large part because he cast Sam Rockwell, a very unconventional choice to play Justin Hammer, and somebody who's like a 180 from his character in the comics, to the point where I could see that could be to the film's detriment if you are a hardcore fan of the comics. But whatever Sam Rockwell is doing with this movie is pitch perfect. Now, he was one that was considered to play Tony Stark in the previous movie, and after watching his performance here, I could see it. I could see it totally. I don't think he'd ever be as good as Robert Downey is in the role, but I can see it, and I would love it, because I think Patrick H. Willems said it best in his Letterboxd review of this film by saying, "Bring Justin Hammer back, you cowards." He is the reason to watch this movie. He is so amazing. And he's sort of written off as a joke throughout the film, which is kind of fun. The heavy of this movie is Mickey Rourke, a really good actor who gives a good performance, though you can tell his character kind of got short shrift because of studio interference and rewrites and the desire to make something that could contend against Heath Ledger's Joker. At the time when this movie was being developed, that's all anybody had on their mind, was making a villain as compelling as that, and you can tell that they tried to do that here, and it didn't. This was a movie that couldn't sustain that, and his character wasn't. I wish we could have seen more of what apparently is left on the cutting room floor for what his character was, But as is, I like Whiplash in this movie, the connection to Tony Stark and Howard Stark, and how some people's names just kind of get erased from history. That's an important piece of the world puzzle. And this is a film that acknowledges that and shows kind of the uglier sides to both fame and also those that are not famous. So you have a villain that'll make himself infamous. You also get the introduction of Black Widow and Scarlett Johansson. I was really rooting for Eliza Dushku to get the role, and I was a little disappointed when she didn't get it. That being said, I also wanted Emily Blunt to get the role, and I was disappointed when she didn't get it, and when ScarJo got it, I was really disappointed. And I really like what she did in this movie, and I loved how she was utilized in the Avengers. She has grown to be my favorite character in the Avengers lineup, and so I had to eat my words. She's an absolute highlight of this. When I showed it to my daughter absolutely fell in effing love with how badass Scarlett Johansson is in the role. And that was cool. We get to see more of the Gwyneth Paltrow, Robert Downey Jr. romance, and it's done really well. You get to see Pepper Potts come into her own and take ownership of Stark Industries in this installment, which is kind of neat. You get that fantastic action sequence on the racetrack in Morocco that unfortunately has Elon Musk in it. I also really like the addition of Rhodey. I don't think he's quite as good as Terrence Howard, if I'm being honest. I really liked how Terrence Howard played him in that first one. But Don Cheadle is a tremendous actor, and I think he does take this character in ways that I really quite like later on, and he has one of my favorite moments in Avengers Endgame. So ultimately I'm fine with that. My daughter was a big fan of the character of War Machine just from back in the day when I was collecting toys and stuff like that. She found a War Machine toy and she just latched onto it. So she was really excited to see him in action in this film, and she really liked him. And she got a kick out of Justin Hammer's The Ex-Wife gag. She thought that was hilarious. This is a good-looking movie, but studio interference kind of botched the quality that this movie could have been, to the point where Jon Favreau quit the MCU in a creative capacity and made Chef, which I think might be his best movie. And if you have seen his work, that is saying something. He created Iron Man. He made the everlasting Christmas movie Elf. So he made it arguably one of, if not the best Disney remakes, live action with Jungle Book. He's a good filmmaker. Chef is a masterpiece, and it's commentary on this movie and the way that these films are created and marketed and put out into the world. And I encourage you to check out Chef. But I also encourage you to check out Iron Man 2. I like this movie. It is a good movie. It's just not nearly as good as its predecessor. That said, we get a tease for Thor, and I'm excited to come to you with a review for that. Let me know what you think of Iron Man 2. Have you softened on this movie as I did? When I first saw it, I gave it a good review, but it wasn't a particularly positive one. I do think it's a good movie, like a firmly good movie now. It's just very inferior to the phenomenal Iron Man. But it's also a step up from the Incredible Hulk, so there's that. Bring us back more Justin Hammer, guys. We've got to get more Sam Rockwell in these movies. He's amazing. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace.